Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So we are from Group 4 Critical Reading. We are going to present to you about how to synthesize journal articles. Before we begin, we'd like to introduce ourselves. My name is Fikri Baihaqi. There are Hilyattul Aulia, Kirana Kusuma, and Luthfiyah Fadhilah. In this presentation, we like to present the definition of synthesis, function and requirements, also steps to synthesize. First, I'd like to explain to you about synthesis definition. So the definition is synthesis is go beyond merely summarizing the articles read while writing a literature review or essay. Synthesize the literature to show how it all fits together and the research fits in. So synthesizing simply means combining instead of summarizing the main points of each source in turn. You put together the ideas and findings of multiple sources in order to make an overall point. So the next explanation is going to be explained by Hilyattul Aulia.
Okay, thank you, Fikri. Today, I will tell you about the functions about synthesize. Synthesize is a new idea or idea presented by the author. This presentation is obtained from various reference sources used by the author in completing a scientific work. Synthesis function in a scientific paper is as an opinion, idea, or new idea given by writer to solve the problem that should be found. This idea can broadly provide views, comments, discussions, or other forms collectively argumentative by the author within certain limits. The result of the synthesis can be in the form of data, facts, information, or new main ideas that have not previously been written by others. Synthesis can also be prepared to as the essence of a scientific work so that the author should not just collect various information from various reference sources. Next. And after that, I will tell you about the requirements. The first is the author must be objective in citing expert opinion. Second, writers must be critical of the source of reference. Third, the writer can shape and sharpen their point of view. Fourth, authors should be look for links between reference sources. And the last is the author looks for parts of the reference source that match the needs of his scientific works. That's all from me. The third speaker will be Fifi.
Okay, thank you, Hilya. Today I want to tell you about steps of synthesis. This is to effectively synthesize the literature. First is to critically read the research of the topic. Then think about how all of the ideas and findings are confitted. On one great way to think about synthesis is to think about the author's of the research discussing the topic at a research conference. They would not individually share summaries of their research. Rather, the conversation will be dynamic as they share similarities and differences in their findings. Okay, next. Number one is critical reading. Read reference sources such as books, reports, research results, or relate research journals properly and thoroughly. In practice, no, it is rare to find a reference source that has the same discussion or topic. Number two, compile a summary. Make a short article from a reference source that contains the main idea and is complete sequentially according to the order in the reference source. That's all for me. Next speaker is Kirana.
Thank you, Vivi. For the last step is about compile an overview. So make a short article that contains the main ideas of several chapters in the source references that are considered interesting, appropriate, and related to the author's writing. The short post not paying attention to the order of the main ideas in accordance with the preference source. Things that considered irrelevant to the author's writing can be ignored. Next. And the last chapter. So the key to a good synthesis is to be organized as the researching and reading sources on the topic. A synthesis metric is one method for organizing research. Record your sources and primary ideas on the issue in this synthesis metric chart. When completed, it will provide a visual depiction of the research and aid in understanding how sources are linked. Take note of the following. In addition to a matrix, as you critically study the sources, 1. Do any authors disagree with another author? And does one author extend the research of another author? And next, are the authors all in agreement? Does any author raise new questions or ideas about the topic? So the next explanation will be written by a moderator.
Thank you, Kirana, for your explanation.
Moderator.
The next is the example of the synthesize. Our topic is about reading comprehension. The first article will be explained by Hilyattul Aulia.
Okay, the first article is the objective of this an analysis of English teacher strategies in teaching reading comprehension. The synthesis is, according to Wibowo and Shafruddin, the purpose of this study is to discover the instructor's ways of teaching reading comprehension at one of Bengkulu senior high schools. According to the findings of the study, the most common tactics employed by teachers in teaching reading were question generation with 27%, encouraging the use of dictionaries with 25%, and question answering with 23%. These revealed this revealed that teachers utilize only a few ways to teach reading comprehension. In conclusion, the strategies that used by the teachers were determined by the resources, indicators, and learning objectives based on the syllable and curriculum. They chose tactics that were most likely to aid students' comprehension of the content. These tactics were employed by teachers to assist the students in overcoming challenges in interpreting the text. The goal of learning reading comprehension cannot be easily attained without the use of appropriate strategies.
Okay, thank you, Yulia.
Next.
The next article will be presented by Kirana Kusuma.
So the synthesis of the article entitled Learning of Reading Comprehensions through Reading Workshop in the Industry 4.0 is Rahman, 2018, explained that in terms of reading habits, the community currently still considers that reading is an activity to waste time, not to deliberately spend time, which indicates that reading does not become a habit, but rather as an insignificant activity. But according to McMaster, Espin, and Van den Broek, 2014, reading comprehension is the process of actively acquiring meaning by involving the reader's knowledge and experience that are related to the contents of reading. Ortlib, 2013, explained reading comprehension is an advanced stage of reading in which students can understand the contents of reading, choose the contents of reading implemented in their lives, and foster their curious and critical attitude. For level of reading comprehension are literal, inferential, creative by Hairudin 2008. According to Ahuja and GC Ahuja 2010, reading comprehension is reading by understand reading material that involves the read association or connection between meaning and symbol of words. Assessment of the content of the existing meanings, correct choice of meanings, organization of ideas when reading material is read, storage of ideas and use in various activities now or future. That's from me.
Thank you, Kirana. Okay, the next article will be presented by Luthfiyah Fadhilah.
Okay, thanks, Fikri. This is synthesis form title of Learning of Reading Comprehension through Reading Workshop. Number 3 is the instruction of reading comprehension. The synthesis of essential proofs comparing good and pure readers or older and younger readers have established that several behaviors relate to strategy, use, and monitoring discriminate the mature from the novice and the good from the pure reader. Older and better readers A are more effective at engaging background knowledge. B have better general and specific vocabularies. C are better at drawing inferences. D have better summarization skills. E can use text structure more effectively to produce more complete recall protocols. We now know more about the strategies they employ to answer questions, and G in general are better at monitoring and adjusting whatever strategies they use. On the other hand, essential descriptions of classroom practice and manual suggestions have established the fact and that very little in the way of explicit teaching of either comprehension strategies or strategies for monitoring comprehension on course. Thanks. Comprehension strategies or strategies for monitoring comprehension on course. Thanks, Fikri.
Okay, have you done, Lutfi?
Done, Fik?
Okay, sorry. Okay, next. Next article is assessing children's reading comprehension on paper and screen, a mode effect study. The research showed that 10-year-old children across levels of reading competence in average perform significantly better on a reading test presented on paper than on screen. We did not find that CBA affected poor readers more than advanced readers. On the contrary, the result revealed that the mode effect in favor of paper was largest for high-performing girls. This finding occurs in spite of Norwegian children's plentiful access to and experience with digital devices and the internet. Digital reading habits as well as scrolling may indeed have affected results negatively in the CBA. Added value of our study lies specifically in its contribution to the still relatively sparse empirical evidence documenting children's reading comprehension on paper versus on screen. It broadens the field by employing multimodal text types that are typical of student textbook and online text. Another particular strength is the large same size. Our finding that students across all skills levels perform more poorly on digital tests than on paper is an urgent call for a more nuanced perspective on implementation of digital technologies in elementary education and a signal to policymakers, school administrators, and educators that the medium matters, especially for reading comprehension. Moreover, the finding that the negative effect of screen reading is particularly pronounced for the highest performing girls calls for a reconsideration of assumption that digitization may make a difference only or mostly for the poorer readers. So the review of all the synthesized article is existential proofs comparing good and poor readers or older and younger readers have demonstrated the numerous behaviors connected to strategy use and monitoring distinguish the mature from the novice and the good from the poor reader. According to Rahman, 2018, in terms of reading habits, the community still perceives reading to be an activity to waste time rather than to spend time purposefully, indicating that reading does not become a habit, but rather an insignificant activity. That being said, teaching people about the importance of reading and comprehension is necessary. The most popular strategies used by teachers in teaching reading, according to Wibowo, Shafirizal and Shaf Yadin, 2020, were question production, encouraging the use of dictionaries, and question responding. The importance of the new generation in the fast-changing environment is exemplified by contribution to the still very scant scientific research recording children's reading comprehension on paper versus on screen. It broadens the discipline by incorporating multimodal text forms found in student textbook and online text. So that's all from us. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for listening, and we hope you understand all how to synthesize and the example of synthesized reading comprehension on our research. Thank you so much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.